This week I'm driving the 2022 Chevrolet Equinox RS. For 2022, the Equinox received a refresh, mostly the design, mostly the front end. But is it enough to compete in one of the most competitive segments on the market? I'm gonna go on the road, see if it's the case. Under the hood, we can find a 4-cylinder, 1.5 liter turbo Ecotec, good for 170 horsepower and 203 foot-pounds of torque. This engine is matched a 6-speed transmission. Unfortunately, for 2022, there's no 2-liter turbo optional engine. So I'm gonna go on the road, see if the performance matches the fuel economy. All right, I'm gonna test the acceleration. Last time I drove an Equinox, it was equipped with the 4-cylinder 2-liter turbo. Good performance. I really like that little engine, but it's not available anymore in 2022. So let's see what this 1.5 liter turbo's got. All right, we can do the 0 to 100 kilometers in about 8.7, 8.9. It's pretty slow. It's really slower than previous 2-liter turbo. Huge difference for the performance. That 1.5 liter is just struggling, to carry all that weight with the all-wheel drive. Performance-wise, it's lacking. On the road with the Equinox, the suspension is kind of firm, not the most comfortable ride on the road, but more you drive it, more you get used to it. Handling-wise, nothing exciting there. A normal type of driving, I could say. It's really, the feel behind the wheel of an Equinox. It's basically, you take the recipe of a Silverado and you apply it to a small SUV. This is pretty much how I feel behind the wheel of this small SUV. Look-wise, Equinox received a small refresh for 2022. So this means we're about in the mid-cycle of this generation of Equinox. Some small changes in the front, mostly. The model I'm driving this week, it's an RS model, so we've got some more black touches, black bow tie, and some RS logo and different wheels and all that. Nothing super aggressive there, but those little touches, I like the RS package of the Chevrolet products. I prefer it over the Premier. I think this package removes a lot the chrome and all that. So if you're into a more darker look, the RS model is for you. If we step inside, everything is plain and simple. We've got some red stitching because it's an RS model. We got that dark chrome around the air vent. Really like that look. Same treatment for the seats. We got some red stitching, some RS logos. At first, those seats feel kind of firm, but when you spend more and more time inside of the Equinox, those seats become comfortable. This is typical of like GM seats from my point of view. But everything is plain and simple. It works well. Everything is at the right place. It's not complicated. It's built just like a truck. We've got a bunch of buttons, easy to use, easy to understand. The screen is one of my favorite, really clear, plain and simple, really fast. We've got wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. We've got some super high quality front and back cameras. I really like that same quality we can find inside of my Yukon Denali. So that's a big plus this week. There's no place to recharge my phone wirelessly this week. I'm not sure if it's because this Equinox is missing some electronic chips, but there's no place to recharge my phone wirelessly. And also the front heated seats are not working, but both buttons are there. So is it something for 2022 because of the chip shortage? Is it something they can add on later on at the dealership? I'm not sure about that. Otherwise, we've got some classic cluster in front of me. Again, plain and simple, truck style. In the back, plenty of space for the kids, really practical. If we take a look at the trunk, big opening, decent amount of space for the trunk, a really practical small SUV. Something I really like about this Equinox is the all-wheel drive system. We've got a button we can deactivate the all-wheel drive system, so it becomes a front-wheel drive Equinox. And it really disconnects this all-wheel drive system. It's a big plus if you want to save on fuel, especially if you have some good weather, good road condition and all that. You don't need that all-wheel drive system. And when you need it, you just have to press a button. That's a big plus. A lot of the competitor system doesn't offer that. It's always a full-time all-wheel drive. So if you try to save on fuel, especially lately, it's really expensive at the pump, so all those little tricks can change your daily consumption of gas. That's a big plus for me. Speaking of fuel economy, this week I was averaging 9 liters per 100 kilometers. It's not that great. I was expecting more of the 1.5 liter. I was doing pretty much the same kind of fuel economy with the 2-liter turbo the Equinox had previously. And also that 2-liter turbo was offering better performance and also more towing capacity. This 1.5-liter turbo can tow up to 1,500 pounds. That's a big gap compared to the previous 2-liter turbo with 3,500 pounds. And if we take a look at the competition, like the Ford Escape, they can still tow 3,500 pounds. So, I think from my point of view, it's a big mistake to remove that 2-liter turbo from the Equinox lineup, especially when you're paying the big price for the RS or the Premier models. You wish to have a little bit more performance, more towing capacity, and about the same fuel economy. So this is why I'm kind of disappointed of this engine. I think it's just kind of like a little bit too small for the size of this SUV, especially with the all-wheel drive system. Sometimes smaller engine is not really better on fuel economy, and that's pretty much what we're seeing here with this Equinox. Price-wise, the Equinox starts around $28,748 in the model I'm driving this week. It's good for $40,588. Once again, kind of expensive from my point of view with that price tag for the RS. Especially we don't have any bigger engine, more capacities, better performance and all that. I really miss the 2-liter. I think $40,000 with the 2-liter, it was an okay price, but with this small 1.5-liter turbo, it's kind of expensive. Overall, I really like this Equinox because it's plain and simple. It works, everything's at the right place. We've got all the nice feature inside of this RS model, the panoramic roof, the front and the back rear camera in HD in super high quality. Also the power lift gate in the back. We've got all the really nice feature I really like. Sometimes when we're inside of a Hyundai or a Kia products, we've got a bunch of feature, but sometimes they're removing those power lift gate and all that, but they have like shades in the windows of the back, and a bunch of things. It's like impressive in front of a lot of people or when we were doing a review, but on a daily basis they're not that useful. But here inside of this Chevrolet products, we found all the useful feature inside of this RS. That's something I really like. Obviously, from my point of view, it's missing that 2-liter turbo. The 1.5 turbo, it's probably their global engine they're using in China and all that. That's why they're really pushing that 1.5. Usually that's the case with those 1.5-liter engine. Overall, I really like the functionality, the vibe I feel inside. It's a really useful, workable little SUV from my point of view. So let me know in the comments, do you miss the 2-liter turbo for the Equinox or the 1.5-liter turbo? It's enough for you. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And we're going to see each other on the next review.